Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. This week I'll be trying an annoying deck which is basically all discard, most of it. We have early plays such as Thoughtseize, Burglaret and Fenlurker to either discard or exile cards from our opponent's hands. We also have Mindrot, Davriel, Playcrafter, which can either force them to sack a creature or discard a card. We also have some removal, and also Liliana and Rankle cause our opponents to discard cards. So basically I'm going to pick up where I left off last week, as in standings. So let's go to the matches. So I'm not gonna keep this hand because obviously we have no early plays, although we could have played out everything we had in that hand. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to ship back a Fenlurker. This way I have something to do turn 1, turn 2, and hopefully draw a land for turn 3 as well. I took away their Reaper as it can cause them to have some card advantage. For the time being, their Murderous Rider isn't going to be very efficient. I'm going to start chipping away at my opponent's hand. No need to block here. So now our opponent has no cards in hand. And I'm not going to attack either. This way I can trade with the token if I want to, but for the time being I'm going to take 2 damage. As an effect from next turn I can either pump my Yarok or play Murderous Rider. I'm going to play another Yarok, exile the only card my opponent has in their hand. Or maybe not. This deck does tend to run out of gas sometime, but I have the castles to help us draw. Maybe I need to increase the numbers of those. I'm going to go ahead and kill my opponent's Murderous Rider and play my own next turn. So I'm going to try and get the dead touchers off the board. I'm not going to attack for the time being, since they have a dead touch creature, but now I have removal for any creatures they might play. It feels like we're kind of playing a similar deck. I'm going to force a block because I'm going to attack Liliana maybe. Now I have protected myself against Liliana's discard, so I won't be taking any damage. I'm going to attack Liliana again. Keep forcing my opponent to chump block. Because I don't want Liliana to hit her ultimate. Now I can start drawing. I'm going to lose the life before I draw, obviously, because I don't want to discard the card I draw. Now this was a really good top deck. I'm going to force the opponent to sack their planeswalker, play my land and be able to use castle again. And my opponent scoops. So I'm going to keep this hand. We can basically play almost all of it out with just 2 lands. And we have a lot of discard as well as some removal. So let's start by taking a look at our opponent's hand. Looks like a blue-white control deck. I'll start taking away some of their counters and maybe removal. Drawing the 4th land was good here because it means we can play Liliana. Maybe if they play a tapped land and not shock themselves with the Hollowed Fountain, they won't be able to counter my Liliana next turn. Okay, so this is quite good because now I get to run out Liliana and start forcing them to discard.
The best thing about zombies is their adoring obedience.
They most probably won't be discarding their Wrath of God. They did actually.
Too much.
Well, okay. Unless maybe they have another one. But the counter might not be that good, even though it can counter trigger the abilities or activate the abilities.
I'll be even
Okay, so
more
that's
powerful next time.
why my opponent decided to discard the Wrath of God. But now I have Rankle. It can force them to discard their last card. I'm not really going to use mine since they have no creatures. Basically they did nothing with their turn there, just draw a card. So I'm going to go ahead and play my creature because I don't want to discard it, and this way it's just my opponent who discards a card. They will be able to create some tokens now, or maybe look for some removal. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with everything. Basically if they create a token they can only trade with the Balck direct, because I can pump defend lurker. I'm not going to choose anything in this case. I could force them to lose one life and draw a card, but I don't want to. If it was the other way around I would have forced them to draw a card and discard it, but the way Rankle works is you have to activate the abilities in the order that they are written. So they reveal a Teferi. Unless they have a land as well, they won't be able to board wipe, and it looks like they don't have. So I'm considered maybe mulliganing this hand, but I'm gonna keep it since we're on the draw. We have 3 chances of drawing, 3 draw steps of drawing a land, and then basically we would almost eliminate all of our opponent's hand. We might be playing against goblins, yeah. So this match might get out of hand pretty quickly, but I'm going to start forcing my opponent to discard their cards. Maybe they won't be able to combo off, and then kill off the rest of their creatures and maybe force them to sacrifice them. Okay, so this works pretty well because I'm going to get my opponent's Muxus, but I'm going to be dead next turn, so yeah. Good game. So this is a good hand. We have enough lands for the time being, and we're on the draw as well, so We have 3 draw steps to get another one, and then we'll have some removal as well and more discard. Okay, turn 1 Thoughtseize is always a nice thing to have. I'm going to take away the removal so my creatures can start attacking after I play them. I'm playing my Burglar out first instead of Fenlurker. Maybe it forces them to discard less important cards, and then the more important ones they end up exiling them instead of discarding them if they maybe have some kind of graveyard access. So I can actually attack first, then play my Playcrafter if I want to, but I'm going to attack, see if my opponent has anything. And now I'm going to play Mind Rot and force them to discard 2 cards. This way they'll be running low on resources, while we have more ways of forcing them to continue discarding. So I'm going to attack. I'm going to play my Playcrafter now. This way I don't lose the 1 damage, and obviously now I start attacking 4 more. I would really love to draw my 4th land now, but I'm going to go ahead and play the Fenlurker, force them to exile their last card, and next turn I will be able to attack and pump the Fenlurker as well. Exiling also doesn't help with their escape cards in this case. I might Thoughtseize next turn, see what else they have in their hand. Unless I draw a land and have access to Rankle. So I'm going to Thoughtseize here. Go ahead and attack. I'm not really that worried with the token because obviously I can kill it with Murderous Rider. Go ahead and attack, and then play another Fenlurker. Keep the pressure on our opponent's hand while adding power to the board as well. But I would really love to draw the fourth land now. Okay, so I finally got my fourth land. I'm going to go ahead and Liliana +1, or maybe not, but I think it's better this way that they counted my Liliana because I have another one, and obviously I'll have removal for the token. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully kill the Kraken token. Pretty sure my opponent is looking for a counter, or maybe try and activate the Ominous Seas again. And this is going to be game. So we have some discard and removal in this hand, so I'm going to keep it. Let's see what my opponent is working with. So looks like some kind of maybe 4-color control, but currently they don't have enough mana to play even Anticipate, so I'm going to take away their card draw, so they won't be able to search for more lands. I force them to exile something, then I'll take away their Narset as well, because that's the cheapest card they have and next in line to play. They actually went ahead and discarded it themselves. So let's take another peek at my opponent's hand. Settle the Wreckage might be good for us. So I'm going to take away their bolas. I don't mind if they kill my creatures, as my Murderous Rider can come back, and obviously attacking and them using Wreckage would help in my deck from lands. So I'm not sure if I want to Thoughtseize now. I mean, I don't think it's really going to make a difference for me if they keep their board wipes for the time being. Maybe I can take them away at a later stage. As of next turn, I'll be able to pump my Fenrirker twice, or this works better. Discard all of my opponent's hand, and then attack and pump. So as you can see, the deck works better against slower decks. Obviously in the game before this one, I got stuck on 3 lands. But against goblins they pretty much ran us over. Doesn't look like my opponent has a lot of creatures in their deck. So I'm going to start plussing Liliana. I don't really need to look at my opponent's hand. I just force them to discard.
We're doing things my way.
I'm going to go ahead and play a creature to add some more pressure. Next turn I can Thoughtseize maybe. Discard away their card. Now they'll start losing 3 life since they can't discard. And Liliana can hit her ultimate. So I'm going to go ahead and actually I look at my opponent's hand first. Now I'll take a turn off, force them to lose 3 life, and then next turn start getting creatures with the ultimate. So it's now pretty much game over. I'll get my Fenrirker, attack and pump. And that's basically game. So I'm going to keep this hand. I have some early ways of forcing my opponent to discard cards, and also some removal. And what cards we draw? We can cast because we have enough lands at the time being. So I think I'm going to go ahead and kill the Pelt Collector, because as of next turn my opponent can play multiple creatures. Actually I can wait for them to cast something, then kill it in response. So this way I'm going to take away another of their cards and force them to exile another, try to slow roll them, and I'll have a blocker. I'm not going to block for the time being. Actually, I could have blocked, because now I'm going to force a sacrifice. But now I can sacrifice my Fenlurker and my Plague Crafter would be able to trade with any of their other creatures. Unless obviously they had removal. But now it's game over. I guess this deck could use some board wipes or cheaper removal. I can go ahead and go out on my own terms and activate the castle. So yeah, pretty much nothing I can do here. As I said earlier, the deck kind of suffers against fast decks, but it's fun to play nonetheless, and I hope you try it out, maybe enjoy it, or get a better deck list for it. In the meantime, I'll see you all next week.